Wake up at 4 a.m. after getting 8 hours of sleep. Take a cold shower. Meditate. Write down your intention for the day. Hit the gym. Eat healthy. Introspect. Cultivate focus. My name is Himal, and if you're anything like me, you've read enough books, you've watched enough videos, you've listened to enough podcasts to know a lot, and I mean a lot, about how to improve yourself. Whether it be about your happiness, your relationships, your lifestyle, your wealth, or a vast majority of other things. But one thing that is really common amongst a lot of us is that sometimes we feel stuck. We can feel like we're not making any progress whatsoever, and we end up wasting away days, weeks, months, maybe even sometimes years, wanting to be better and do better. But for whatever reason, we can't bring ourselves to take the first step to do that. Or we can, but we can't remain consistent with it. And so in this video, I kind of want to explore this idea, like why we feel like this, and maybe a few steps or a few things that we can do to get out of that rut, and then take the first step towards being the happy, productive, and inspiring people that we want to be. When I was doing research for this video, I came across a few key ideas that really resonated with me, so I'm going to be sharing them with you today. All the articles and books that I'll be referencing is going to be in the description, so make sure you have a look at that if you want to read up more on these specific areas. And so one of the reasons why we don't make progress, or rather take that first step, is because we overcomplicate self-improvement. If I made a list of all the things that self-help books, podcasts, videos have told me to do, then I would have a very long list. And I'm sure if you did the same, your list would also be long as well. And it's easy to get overwhelmed by the size of this list. But obviously, overthinking it is not gonna do us any good at all. You see, when we look at all these things or think about all these things that we should be doing, it makes us feel like we have to make really drastic changes in order for us to improve our lives. When really, that's not it. That's not what it's about. Self-improvement is all about the 1%ers. It's about what can you do today that will improve yourself just a tiny little bit. I remember reading James Clear's Atomic Habits. Yes, I've been referencing this book way too many times, but it's just so good. If you haven't got a copy of it, make sure you grab a copy of it. The link is in the description so you can grab one yourself. He talks about this idea of continuous improvement, about how if you improved yourself 1% every day, then you'll be roughly 37 times better by the end of the year. Like, it's insane what you can do if you just committed to improving yourself 1% every single day. Overcomplicating self-improvement and making us feel like we have to make really big changes isn't gonna get us anywhere. If we just make it about the 1%ers, then it means that our lives can be so much more simpler. Now, before I go on what we can actually do to kind of, I suppose, combat this, let me share with you a few more things. And so another reason why I feel like we don't make progress is because we end up consuming more than creating more. Let me explain. Consuming information is great and you should do it, but don't mistake it for taking action. I mean, just because we've read a book or we've watched a video or we listened to a podcast or we did this or we did that, it doesn't mean that we've made tangible progress towards achieving our goals. I mean, to some extent, yes, it could. I mean, if you're watching and listening to things that make you feel really happy, things that you've never listened to before, and it's making you feel really inspired and you feel like your life is improving just by listening to it, then that's great. But if our consuming is not followed up by action, then it's just gonna be another thing that we add to our bank of knowledge that will be accessed maybe once in a while, maybe even never. We spend a large amount of time consuming content around the life that we want rather than creating the life that we want. So a simple solution to this would be consume less and create more. Another big reason why, and I am the biggest sucker for this, is that we expect results now. If you're watching this video, it's likely that you want to improve yourself and you know that it's going to take time. But for whatever reason, you either don't start or you give up. We want to get better immediately. We want to lose weight immediately, right? We want these things right now, but to put in the consistent energy and be patient with the results, no way, right? So what can you do given that you overcomplicate self-improvement? The fact that you consume more around the life that you want rather than creating the life that you want, and the fact that you expect your results immediately, what can you do? Well, I was actually thinking about this, and my answer to this may be very simple. This is just my own thoughts. This is not my professional opinion on it or anything, but all it is you just picking one thing and you developing a consistent habit around it. Finishing a book every 2 weeks, meditating daily, introspecting daily. Just pick one thing, whatever it is. Because when we do this, we are simplifying self-improvement. We're making it about the 1%ers, and we can see ourselves becoming better than the person that we were the day before. And when we recognize this, we can actually draw a lot of motivation and inspiration from that. I've had my fair share experience of, consuming a lot of self-help content and things that I should be doing to improve myself. And it got to a point where it was incredibly overwhelming, that it was like, I'm just not gonna do anything at all. What I've done, in fact, more so this year, is I've just picked one or two things that I know for sure that I can stick to consistently. And I've been very intentional with those actions. And so as a result of me doing that, I've seen so much more fulfillment, so much more happiness, and I don't feel stuck. And if you get to a point where, you've been doing this one thing consistently, like you're improving yourself 1%, you by all means can go ahead, stack that habit with something, some other activity that you want to do. But the most important thing is that you just start with picking one. That's all you have to do. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. And don't worry about what other people think of you, right? The only person you need to prove yourself to is you. And keep that in mind as you take the necessary steps towards becoming the best version of yourself. A version that is happy, a version that is inspiring, a version that is productive, and a version that you are ultimately satisfied with. If you guys found this video helpful to you, please make sure that you do like and you subscribe to the channel. Share the video with a few people that you think might benefit from it. And if you haven't already, if you want more content, you can by all means check me out on Instagram. I post there daily, if not every couple of days. So if you want more content more frequently, check me out there. But otherwise, I guess I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Bye.